Hey everyone, Rob here. So a couple other things that have been completed. The gear shift. So here we are. Right hand side of the car. There's our gear shift knob. That's all the way to the right where third and fourth is, and first and second. The throw forward and aft between first gear and second gear is, first gear is here, second gear is here. It's a very short throw. It's hard to demonstrate without the engine running. It's just the way the gearbox is. So this is a really interesting little linkage here. Moving the handle slides this entire tube forward and aft. It can rotate in this rod end here, but going fore and aft moves this entire rod forwards and backwards. So as I'm moving the gear shift, the whole rod is moving. There's a connection, basically a U-joint, to a separate section, which comes down to yet another U-joint, through a support bracket to another section that runs up past the suspension, to another U-joint, pardon me, and then the input into the transmission itself. So it's a really interesting little gearbox, and maybe the next time I have the gearbox open to change gearing or inspect things, I'll do a separate video. The transmission on this is designed so that quite easily everything comes off the back and all of these nuts come off all around. And then the entire transmission can come out very easily. Gears can be inspected, changed, ratios adjusted for different tracks, etc. Put back together, everything's sealed up and tightened up. It's designed for quick and easy replacement. At the racetrack, for example, if necessary, this can be done. Up on the wall here, just handy for reference, this is permanently up here, so here's the internal workings of the transmission. It's a 4-speed because the regulations, the formula that the Formula Ford is built on, specifies a 4-speed. Non-synchro, basically a motorcycle style transmission, but it's not sequential. It's an H pattern. It does have reverse. It's kind of weird to get used to the differences between a street car and a race car. Now, my last race car was a BMW, but it was still essentially a street car running, standard sort of transmission that came with the car. These are different. So think about it. In a street car, you need first gear because you're, idling around parking lots and, getting in and out of parking spots and so on and so forth. You need a low first gear. And then you probably have 5 gears for the rest. Since the race car, we don't care about idling around parking lots. What is done with these is the first gear itself is very tall gearing. In other words, I can do 100 kilometers per hour in first gear. And then second, third, fourth are closely spaced, a close ratio. Essentially, it's the same as a 5-speed, It's without first gear, if that makes any sense. So the fourth gear ratio will be decided on the racetrack you're at and the top speed you expect to achieve. And you'll adjust the gearing so that at the end of the fastest straight, you're at maximum RPM. It's a fun little transmission to drive. That clutch is kind of an on-off switch, but with a bit of practice, you can slip that clutch, but it's super touchy. First time I drove this, I stalled it 2 or 3 times. Okay, that's enough, I think, on the transmission, and talk to you later.